It's time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and more than 15 podcast platforms. We also invite you into the studio each week via YouTube. Subscribe and watch each episode on our YouTube channel at Turner O'Neill Podcast. Thanks to our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, and Marquise Evans with Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber with Max Life Barber and Salon. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by me, DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 22 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross, your host, and I'm joined as always by Coach Steve Turner. Coach Casey O'Neill, our engineer, is DJ Krissy. Gentlemen, this is the last episode of 2021. We didn't talk about that. This is the last episode of 2021 when the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve and takes us into 2022. That will officially be us entering our third year of podcasting. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Our premier partner for Season 3 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray is a friend of the program and the only mortgage lender we endorse right here at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ray Cruz is Mortgage Intelligently. We'd like to thank our partners, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Marquise Evans with Capital Williams Properties, or Keller Williams Capital Properties. If you'd like to become a partner, sponsor, donor, or friend of the program, simply look in all notes of Season 3 episodes. Season 4 is just weeks away, so now it's time to get on board, move your brand in front of thousands of people right here in our podcast. Before we get into today's episode, gentlemen, how was your week? Coach Turner, just do it. How's it going, fella?
Not too bad. Great holiday, great opportunity to spend some good time with the family. As I told you guys before, I had to lay my grandmother to rest. And then unfortunately, had to make a tough decision to not take my team out of town to Portland with all that's going on with the COVID.
Yes, sir.
Which kind of sucked, but it was definitely the right call. And so hopefully teams locally here will get themselves together and we'll be able to, when the new year starts, run through a regular season. So fingers crossed and see how that goes.
Well, we just heard within the last hour that all DC public schools are going to require each student and teacher to prove that they are COVID negative before they return to school next week. I applaud them for that, but that's going to be a tremendous undertaking. They're going to give out rapid tests to everyone. That will be a tremendous undertaking. Coach O'Neill, how's it going over there in your hood, sir?
Well, Merry Christmas. It was a magical Christmas here in Woodmore, Silver Spring. Everybody was happy with what Santa brought and delivered underneath the Christmas tree. Just like Coach Turner, a lot of adjustments to work and some sessions and things that we had going on with sort of this outbreak, just being together with family, just trying to figure out what was the right move. And but I got to give a shout out. You mentioned our last show of 2021. But to the folks out there listening, there is a big father daughter New Year's celebration going down, and I got to give a plug to you and Miss Chelsea getting rocking and rolling. You want to expand on that, Coach?
We are going to do a like father, like daughter New Year's Eve virtual celebration in the studio. Chelsea will make her debut as a DJ, so if you guys tune in at 10 o'clock On New Year's Eve, we will open the waiting room, limited to 100 guests. Chelsea will take over at 10:30. She'll DJ. I will take over at 11 o'clock, and word on the street for us and all of our listeners and viewers, she will do the midnight countdown, so you'll be treated to that with DJ Chelsea MC. Thank you for that plug, sir. Hope to see y'all faces in the place.
Let's go. Hey, you mentioned it in the new year, and I'm like, what other place would you rather be, or who would you rather listen to?
There you go.
Like father, like daughter. I love it. But good week and getting ready for the new year. And here we are, college football bowl season, which I'm sure we'll chat up in a little bit. So.
Is she queuing up her own music?
She's cute. Well, we have gone over the list together, and I have approved what she is going to play, and she will DJ her own set. Yes, sir.
I love it.
Yes, she will. It might be a throwback or two in there for those of you who, I know Erica, she likes her 90s hip hop, so
she loves it.
We'll toss a couple jams her way, because I heard about you guys at the harbor one time. Did y'all crash a party or something? You said, right? Y'all were in the harbor, one of the Marriotts, and you heard a DJ, right?
Yeah, we were down near the Gaylord waterfront, the National Harbor down there, and we were having a nice dinner. And man, they were bumping. We thought it was you or DJ Krissy. I mean, it was good. I don't know if it was as good as you guys, but it was good.
All right, now DJ Krissy, how about you? We did Christmas and all that. Talk to us about your week, young lady.
Yeah, celebrated the holiday. Happy or merry belated Christmas to everybody. Yay. Back here in the studio today. Good times. It was a good holiday. Got to take some time out and think about things. Got a vacuum. That was kind of exciting.
Not just any vacuum.
Not just any vacuum, though. It's a shark vacuum. Ooh. But not just any shark.
Please expand.
It is cordless.
Oh, boy.
It is battery powered.
Ha
I am not limited in my scope. I can take it outside and vacuum if I want.
Yes, you can.
How long does that battery last? I mean, how much time are we realistically talking about?
It's about 40 minutes between charges.
Okay, very good.
I like it.
Better vacuum quick.
I mean, the house is not that big.
Right.
You know what? I've probably vacuumed 4 times since Christmas.
You know what the problem is, Krissy? With that vacuum, it only does carpet, right?
No.
Uh-oh, what is it?
No, it does hardwood.
It's a hybrid vacuum?
It is a hybrid vacuum.
Okay,
It has different settings.
Oh, boy.
And it has a fancy little trigger that you pull, and then it goes into I don't know, it's like turbo mode or something.
Oh boy, you're gonna be vacuuming up everything. Watch out, she might vacuum you up.
I don't know, it's just fun.
All right. Well, look, my week was great. The highlights included: we celebrated Christmas with family, a great meal, and all-day NBA action. The weather has been simply perfect. We haven't dropped below 30, I think, in the last week to 10 days, and New Year's Day will be in the mid to upper 60s. And for the 10th straight week, the NBA fantasy teams that my kids and I manage are sitting atop their respective leagues. So let's hit our first break, and we will be back with this week's headline. Kurt Cross here, producer of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. For more than 20 years, I have seen Gene the Barber for my haircuts. I am proud to say that Gene the Barber is now the owner of a new shop, his own shop, Max Life Barber and Salon. Max Life is family friendly with barbers and stylists for men, women, and children. Located at 6859 New Hampshire Avenue in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Max Life Barber and Salon is now the new home of Gene the Barber. Of course, you'll get Gene's signature service, but now Gene has several barbers to choose from. Schedule an appointment today by calling 240-687-7253 and tell Gene that the Take a TO team sent you.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill can be found on more than 15 podcast platforms. Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill records weekly with episode drops each Thursday at 11 a.m.
One Headline is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual homebuyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Steve, I think you know who this might be, but I got to send a shout out to the real phenom, whoever he is on Instagram, always loving our posts. Who is that, Steve? Let's give them some love.
That's Double J, John Jones.
Oh, Double J, he has been with us from day one, hasn't he? Day
one. Loyal listener. Listens every single week, checks in, gives a little shout out when he can, and big supporter.
Yeah, he is a big supporter. I see tweets and texts and all that from him saying, hey, great to catch up to this episode,
Matter of fact, I want to say, give.
I was just about to say, go ahead.
He just walked across the stage with his masters, promise that he made to his parents, taking care of business, and through the
Krissy,
pandemic and everything all that's been going on, John went and got it.
The man got his masters. So big shout out to Double J. He's an I Street man. Is that correct?
Correct. He was a manager on my team. He's the only manager I've ever let play in a game.
All right, so that tells you who he is. Thank you to Double J for contributing to his own positive future by getting that master's, and for contributing to the energy behind Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. This week's headline: our beloved Washington football team. Clearly, the playoff window is closing fast. What went wrong this year, fellas?
It's pretty plain and simple. We're a team depleted. Every week we lose 2 to 3 players. The Dallas fans can go and run and jump for joy for beating up a team that is half a team. If that's what they're celebrating, kudos to them. But we to start the season, we weren't a playoff team. Okay. I think we rose above a little bit and achieved a little higher than people expected. And then when some guys went down, some guys stepped up. We definitely had a next man up mentality, but we don't have enough to be able to be successful in the NFL.
See, I think they did. I think they did have a roster to compete for a playoff spot at the beginning of the season. Obviously, you can't control injuries, you can't control this COVID outbreak, you can't control just all the different things that happen to our football team.
And a lot of NFL teams, right?
A lot of, everybody else is going through it. Consistency speaks volumes, and that's just been the lack of this organization for 25 years is consistency, whether it's with the quarterback, whether it's with the coaching, whether it's with general managers, whether it's with, sticking to it. The sign of a great program, they've got to go through these ebbs and flows. Let's be honest. They were 7-9 last year, and they were NFC East champions at a record of 7-9 last season. I'll take it, right? I'll take it. And then this year, they're trending to be kind of the same group. So the same type of team, but I do see a little bit of improvement. People might knock what happened with Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, if everyone saw that. I kind of liked it in a way because it means those guys care a lot. Now, granted, nobody should be punching a teammate or swinging at them, but I think it's close. Obviously, you got to fix the quarterback situation. I do like Heineke as a backup and as a competitor. You got to give Rivera a couple more years, maybe 2. And just see where it goes. And the darn owner needs to step away, and we'll be in a position that I
do
hope.
Do you think the owner has meddled? I don't know that I can say he's meddled in the last
year. Not that we know of.
He only hasn't meddled recently because he's got his own issues to deal with.
Right.
And so thank God as a fan that he does, so he will stay out of the way.
Right.
Casey, I agree with you to a point, but I disagree to a certain point. I definitely think we had a defense that was built to be a playoff team. I just still wasn't sure or sold that our offense was built to carry us any type of way. And then when you lose your two cornerstones on your defense, that scared me. Now, we won some games after that, but at that point, I kind of saw us as a ship sinking.
Right. Well, it's frustrating. They have a 4% chance of even making the playoffs this year. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But Sunday night was as embarrassing as it can possibly be. I'm still not sold on the Cowboys being one of the better. They are a good team. They're solid, but I'm not sold on them being the best. I still think it's Green Bay. I still think Tampa Bay. I think those teams, and maybe even the way the Niners and some of the Cardinals are kind of trending down, but Washington, it's got to be consistent. You can't just keep switching up. And I'll tell you what, it's frustrating to watch. And problem is we just expect it.
Do we give Fitzpatrick another run? I don't know that we need to, do we?
I mean, there's some look, there's some great free agent quarterbacks that are coming in this year, not coming to Washington, but you'll see some names. I think it's
available, yeah.
A decent draft of some okay quarterbacks where they'd kind of fit to get. But look, the last couple of games, you look at Heineke, you look at what Kyle Allen has. Heck, look at the guy that stepped in against the Eagles. He wasn't half bad. We figure something out.
Right.
And make a pitch at it. But, man, you tell me, like, Russell Wilson's going to be available. Jimmy G's going to, I think, be available. There's a couple
this team
guys.
has never been one that – this team has never had the philosophy that we're going to get someone, we're going to groom them, we'll take our lumps for 2 or 3 years and watch them grow into the system. That's number one. Number two, add Fitzpatrick to the long list of people who have come into D.C., whatever sport it is, steal money and roll out. He played not even, I'll tell you what, he played about as much quarterback this year as any of the four of us did. He played a few downs, and that man's getting paid. So we'll see what happens to that Washington football team. Steve, you got one? Go for it.
Yeah, just something to think about. Casey, I'm going to throw a couple questions. So the things that I want to get answered will get answered. How many Super Bowls for the Skins?
How many have they won?
Yep,
they've won 3.
Okay, of those three,
been to 5.
Of those 3, or let's say of the 5, how many quarterbacks were drafted quarterbacks?
By us, you mean?
Right. So
our success getting the Super Bowls has been with quarterbacks that we got out of free agency.
Right.
This might be the right route for us to go right now and getting a quarterback that can carry the load. We haven't had a quarterback that was just drafted to run us all the way through. It's been
Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, right?
Yeah, those guys. And again, Theismann was probably the most groomed and sought after, right, coming from Notre Dame. And you look at Doug Williams, and I mean, his story is just as cool as it gets. And then Rippon, I mean, was really 1 or 2 good years, and then whoop, gone, right? So you're right. It means what you build around it. But I mean, I look at the NFL, and there is probably a half dozen guys that you could consistently say are the premier guys. And the first 3 that come to mind are Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady. I don't think Dak's there as well, too. So it's, again, I mean, it's a lot of it's luck, too, like in building around.
No doubt. And then I think, the other thing I think about, we talk all the time about our line and our running backs and all that. When we were the cream of the crop, our receiving cores were unbelievable, and we haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Very true.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline. Is a custom builder in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore. Recognized nationally as a premier builder, O'Neill Development has received awards for historic restoration and urban infill work. Committed to best practices in green building, O'Neill Development also provides support in budgeting, architect selection, and design development during the critical stages of planning. O'Neill Development, building, remodeling, and development since 1975. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Winsight Media delivers connections and intelligence to four of the fastest growing verticals: convenience retailing, grocery businesses, restaurants, and non-commercial food service through broad and cutting-edge platforms. No company is better positioned to meet the food industry's needs than Winsight. Connect with us at www.winsightmedia.com.
The Starting Five is brought to you by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Dynamic DJ Entertainment, the most experienced professional DJ service in the DMV. For 35 years, our DJ talent has been the energy behind more than 14,000 events. If you're planning your wedding, school dance, corporate event, Sweet 16, or any event, our talented team has the right mix of music and MC skills to bring the energy and turn any event into an epic event. In 35 years, our DJs have performed in front of more than 2 million guests in 26 states. Our services include dynamic DJ talent, karaoke, giant games, atmospheric effects, movie nights, and more. Contact us today and let's make your next event an epic event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment. Visit thepartybeginsnow.com or call 0942-4500 to get the party started.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. The Starting Five. Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. The Starting Five is brought to you by Dynamic DJ Entertainment. I am your host, Kurtis Cross. I'm with Coach Steve Turner. I'm with Coach Casey O'Neill. Our engineer for this and every episode is DJ Krissy. We are up to our weekly Starting Five. 5 questions I'll ask of each coach. They have 30 seconds to answer each question. But the problem is, DJ Krissy, if they do not answer the question in 30 seconds or less, tell the people what happens. All right, gentlemen, let's do it. We're going to start with, I don't know, and you are it. Casey, you will be first. Own and work on a farm or own and drive a tractor trailer?
Work on the farm.
All right, Coach Turner, you doing the tractor trailer or the farm thing?
Man, I'm driving, bro.
You hitting the road?
Hitting the road.
Deep.
All right. All the little kids ask you to hit the horn. You going to hit the horn, Steve?
hard and long.
All right. Steve, coming back to you. Classic hot rod or new motorcycle?
Ooh. That's a tough one. But I'm going to go with safety, and I'm going to take the classic hot rod.
There you go. I ain't getting on no motorcycle. Coach O'Neill, you doing the motorcycle thing, ain't you?
No, I couldn't agree more. Those things scare me. I'm going hot rod, baby.
All right, Coach O'Neill, you have $10,000 to spend on improving one room in your home. What room do you choose?
I'm going to go with...
I would say your closet because you need some help in the wardrobe department, brother.
Sure. Let's go with the closet. No, I'm going to go with... We spend the most time, and we've worked hard on our kitchen and sort of the family area. I'm going to go with the office. I'm going to button the office up with just all sorts of gadgets. I'm going to go with the home office.
Coach Turner, $10,000. How you going to spend it in that home?
We're going to do some working up in that kitchen.
Really? I thought you would do a man cave or something.
Nah, we get that later. I like to entertain, so that area is the next upgrade in this house.
All right. Good enough. Going back to you. A vacation home for you or a group of 4 townhome rental properties where you're the landlord for the next 20 years.
Oh, say that one more time.
So you get a vacation home for you and your family, of course.
To use whenever?
To use whenever.
Yeah.
Or 4 townhome rental properties where you can make income for the next 20 years.
Man, we getting the home for ourselves.
All right, Coach O'Neill, what are you going to do?
I agree with Steve. I want that vacation home. Done. Because then we can rent it if we have to.
Yeah, you can do that. You can make money off that too. Steve, your rapid fire. Unlimited Final Four tickets. That's a pack of 4. Or unlimited golfing and fishing. You choose where those things take place.
Ooh.
Damn.
We're going to stump you at the end of 2021, brother.
You said unlimited fishing and
golfing, and you get to pick those locations.
As often as I want throughout the year?
I mean, within reason. Let's say twice a month or whatever. I don't know.
I know enough college coaches. I can get those Final Four tickets. Give me the golf. I can get those Final Four tickets. Give me golfing and fishing.
All right. Breakfast or dinner? What do you like better?
Breakfast.
Spend time with a generation in your family you'll never meet or an ancestor you never met. You get the day.
I'm going ancestor.
Okay. 99% chance of winning $100,000 or 50-50 chance at winning 10 million.
So go one more time.
You get a 99% chance of winning 100,000, a 50-50 chance at winning 10 million.
I'm taking the 50-50.
Take the 50-50, right? Because 100,000 will help, but there's some things you can get to 100,000.
The taxes hit that 100,000. It ain't 100,000.
You at like 68, right?
Yeah. Give me a 50-50.
All right. Be middle class in America or rich in Japan.
I'll stick with my middle class in America.
All right. Coach Casey O'Neill, you are up. Immortality or unlimited money?
Money.
Steph Curry's jumper or Shaq's dominance? Which one is better?
I'm gonna go with the big fella, Shaq.
Diesel.
I agree. Sponsored by Nike or sponsored by Callaway? We did good this
I'm
week,
gonna go with
Krissy.
Nike because Nike's got some golf gear in there, so I'm gonna go Nike.
I don't have a hat on. Tip my hat to Krissy. We did good. We're stumping him this week, girl. Cruise vacation or all-inclusive resort?
I'm gonna go resort.
But you're stuck in the same place every day.
Yeah, but man, I love cruise. The one and only cruise we took on our honeymoon was spectacular, and I know you love cruising, and there's a lot of different things you can see, but I'm thinking about my wife right now, and I know that she would just chill at that resort, man.
She gonna come out the room and she gonna get her tan. Swim up to the bar and get her drinks.
Right.
All right. Last but not least, Morgan Freeman or Al Pacino?
Wow.
That was Krissy's question.
That's a really good one. And I think both are spectacular. There's just something about Morgan Freeman, that voice, man, and some of the characters he's played that's just soothing. I'm going to go with Morgan Freeman.
We had a conversation the other day. I'm going to go off script a little bit. And there are certain characters or certain actors that can only do what they do. For example, we were talking about The Hangover, the guy who played Chow. No one else could play that
That's all he can do.
Like you got certain people like, Marlon Brando's the only one we can see doing Godfather, right?
Right.
Like you can't get Sylvester Stallone to do that or whatever, but certain people, and I think Morgan Freeman and Al Pacino in their roles, to Krissy's credit, having written that question, only they can do what they can do, you know?
I would definitely agree with that. And Al Pacino obviously has done some of the most amazing films as well. But again, I'm just going for like the hearing and just hearing that Morgan's voice, and like whether he's doing covering documentaries or this or that. I mean, he's just so smooth. I'll put it that way.
All right. For both of you, I have a bonus question.
Hold on, Steve had something to say.
Good.
What's up, Steve?
Let's do the bonus. I'll say something after the bonus.
James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman? I'm gonna add to that question.
James is probably the only person that could play Brando, but he could never do it.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
That's not the only person that I could say could have done Brando.
All right, with that voice,
Darth Vader.
With the voice and everything else. Like that's the only person, but it wouldn't work.
So we're going James Earl Jones, or we're going Morgan Freeman? Both of you get to answer this one. I'm going Morgan.
I'm still going Morgan.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So we're all going with Morgan Freeman.
All right, hold on. I got one for you. Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro. I don't even have to think about that. De Niro's
I'm with you on that, Curtis.
He's incredible. He played the Godfather from back in the day. He played my man in Casino. He's done so many. Robert De Niro, hands down for me on that one.
All right.
Krissy, Matthew McConaughey, or your boy
Brad Pitt
that played Superman, Dean Cain?
Dean Cain played Superman.
McConaughey. Dean Cain.
Dean Cain? Or she's hot after Dean Cain or Matthew McConaughey, Krissy.
Hey, wait, whoa. We're talking looks now? We're talking like...
You're talking looks, you're talking the acting.
We're going looks. We're going looks now.
What?
We stumped her.
I will go Matthew McConaughey.
All right. She gets the last starting five of the year, and that is your starting five.
I had one for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're trying to close the session out. Go ahead, Steve.
So you've seen Versus, the music.
Right.
Did you see the one that they put out for the actors?
I did not.
They posted one the other day.
Talk to me.
Denzel.
Okay.
This is movie for movie.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Denzel because Samuel L. Jackson, I can't, even though he is the highest grossing actor in Hollywood history with all of his movies, because you must include the Star Wars series that he was in, I don't think he played enough of a role in Star Wars for us to consider those movies like his movies. When Denzel has been in a movie, he's made that movie. So I would go Denzel because Denzel also writes and produces, and Denzel acts the role, and only Denzel can bring to those roles King Kong ain't got nothing on me. He did Malcolm X. We're talking Denzel versus, can you name a role where Samuel L. played where he transcended, the community or transcended the industry with that role? And I don't think we can. The closest you can come is the Tarantino Pulp Fiction, because that was just, what do you call it? One of those, not pop.
Never be another like it.
Culture, what do you call it? Pop culture or whatever it is. It was a cult classic, You can't, but Denzel has done it over and over and over again. He was in the basketball movie, wasn't he, with Ray Allen?
Mm-hmm.
I never saw that, but he did so many things.
Hold on, you just said you never watched that?
Above the Rim? No, I never seen it. It was Above the Rim, right?
What's wrong with you?
Especially because back in the 90s or early 2000s, every single time TNT finished whatever game they were playing late night, Above the Rim was on after it, wasn't it, Steve?
You need to sit down and watch that movie.
The Last Dance, too. We said that like 15 times.
That was like season 1. You haven't come over to watch. I need some warm cookies and milk, and I need you to babysit me and watch the movie or watch that series with me. No, I've never seen Above the Rim. I've seen Love and Basketball.
Okay.
All right. Can we go to commercial now, or are you guys going to hold us up again? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting five. The starting five. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audio-visual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Read our reviews online. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info or call 240-356-8832. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions. We are Home Advisor, screened, and approved.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our friends of the program: Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Sean Parker, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Tarones, Timothy Whittier. If you'd like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. Collins Funeral Home has served families of Greater Washington with compassion and kindness since 1939. Our friends John and Terry McHugh carry on this family tradition into the third generation. The McHugh brothers, along with their experienced funeral directors and caring staff, are ready to assist you at any time. Whether you have experienced a loss, need to make plans in advance, or simply have a question, Please contact them to discuss how they can assist at your time of need. Visit collinsfuneralhome.com or call 301-593-9500.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by World Class Training, locations in Rockville, Maryland and Alexandria, Virginia. Performance training and physical therapy. That's what you'll find at Healthy Baller. Hi, this is Kurt Cross, producer of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Paula and I have our 13 and 11-year-old children training with the wonderful crew at Healthy Baller Rockville. Healthy Baller has created a customized training experience for our kids, and we are super pleased with the results. Their excellent training and dedication to each athlete is apparent from your first consultation through the ongoing training sessions. Paula and I can personally attest to the results. Become your own success story. They offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training in Rockville and Alexandria. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back, and this segment is brought to you by Healthy Baller. An icon and a man who did so much for the way we consume the NFL has passed. John Madden died yesterday at the age of 85. Let's get into how this single individual changed the NFL as we know it today. Gentlemen.
I'm happy to start off here. I think it's funny. We were going through that commercial break and pulled up Twitter on my phone, and the Washington football team had a video that said no other way to, as we were talking about the Redskins earlier about the Super Bowls, and they had a video of John Madden calling the Super Bowl and when they were pouring the Gatorade ice bucket over Coach Gibbs. And I got a little nostalgic there, thinking like, okay, are we ever going to see that again as fans? But they said no better way to call the ice bucket or the Gatorade bath than having John Madden call it. To me, I think it starts with personality, just being himself, to be that charismatic, to make broadcasting fun. I guarantee you, if you go through the halls of some of the great broadcasters, whether they were the play-by-play, the commentary, they're going to go back to listening to John Madden as a kid and the way what he brought to the booth and just the honesty, the realness, just being him. I think of the video game, right? I'm sure, I don't know if that was his idea or not. There were probably some people around there, but we're going to call Madden. I mean, that's changed. I wouldn't say lives, but I mean, just growing and growing and growing and growing the sport of the NFL. I mean, I think the NFL has a lot to thank for somebody like John Madden because of how popular the sport is. And it is king in the US. I think about the Emmys. That guy won like 17 Emmys for being a commentator. And I remembered as I'm looking back that he didn't fly around from game to game. He took the Madden bus, the Madden Cruiser, right? And I think of Thanksgiving Day, and I think of that big turkey leg. I mean, I could go on and on and on about John Madden. He just seemed like the type of guy you wanted to just talk to or be around or listen to. I mean, it was him and Pat Summerall called the games. You knew it was a big game, especially when it was, the Redskins and the Cowboys or the Giants and the Eagles or the Niners and the Packers, whatever it was, John Madden was doing it. And I also saw that he was one of the only broadcasters to also do all four networks. So we did NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox. What an icon, man. Sorry that I was rambling on there, but
No. You hit on some very important notes. I'll make mine brief. You stole a couple of mine. Thanksgiving turkey leg.
Yep.
Was brought about by him with the offensive lineman or someone coming to eat
right
after the game. He did it by bus. So you notice his schedule had to be, he wasn't going from Seattle all the way to Miami in 1 week. It was be Seattle. He'd work his way around the country based on what the bus could do. Pat Summerall, John Madden, you knew you made it when they did your game, right?
Right.
And I remember some of those RFK games they did. Here's what you didn't know. Here are two things that you guys might not have known. I heard it on the news. After he retired, he moved into an apartment building in New York, and he was very good friends with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. They had a very good friendship. When they did this recent documentary on him, they made 46 requests of him in terms of getting access to this or interviews. He said yes to each and every one of them. EA Sports is not EA Sports without that Madden video game. And sound effects. He would always, do his replays and go boom, and he would talk about how the guy would hit you. He'd have those sound effects. Last but not least, I'll never forget one of the funniest things I ever heard him say, and I think it was almost like a faux pas. He was describing a blitz, and he said, usually when you blitz up the middle or around the left or around the right. And I'm thinking, John Madden, where the hell else can you blitz from? There's only 3 ways you can go. And he said that. So I remember that, and that was funny to me. Steve, John Madden changed this game as we watch it, as we consume it, from a coaching perspective, from a video game perspective. There are kids who are 10 years old who know Madden but don't know Madden because he's a brand. What do you think, Steve?
I mean, you guys hit on all the big things that I think most people would know him for. But I think what's also pretty darn cool is that he was a guy who was drafted to play in the league. Unfortunately, a knee injury cost him never to ever have a chance to play. But then to be able to go into coaching and win a Super Bowl, there's not a lot of people who can say that they've done that. And then him to allow his charismatic ways continue his career in the game that he loved the most, football, the NFL, and to see how, like you said, I mean, there are kids who've learned more about the NFL game by playing the game of Madden, by being able to go back and look at the all-pro teams, and they start learning about the players who played well before them or before they were maybe even thought of or born. He has contributed to a lot of the history of the game that we all love to watch on Sunday.
So you're saying their kids playing the 46 zone defense that's outlined in Madden, and they have no idea that was Buddy Ryan and all those cats, right?
I mean, I've had a chance to help coach youth league football. A lot of kids have learned how to play the game and learned about the positions and different lineups just by playing Madden.
Right.
Like, say what you want. We always say we want to keep our kids off the video games, but there's a lot that they do learn through those games.
Right. John Madden, he is gone. He has passed at the age of 85. All I remember is there's 3 people I remember from watching football back in the days. Pat Summerall and John Madden, and again, those are the big games. And then Brent Musburger, who would always say, you are looking live at Washington, D.C., or blah, 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 and the camera would pan in, and all that good stuff. But John Madden, he was the original merchandise, and I feel like we can say this with all the greats, but there'll never be another one like him, right? I mean, you can put whoever you want behind the mic, but John Madden was the guy behind the mic. DJ Krissy, do me a favor. Do us a favor. Let's take it to break, and we will be back. Next Level Lacrosse. Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs. We stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. From beginning programs to rec leagues, travel clubs to summer programs, we develop the young and experienced athletes alike. Next Level Lacrosse has a rich tradition of running the best middle and high school lacrosse leagues in the DMV area. You'll find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com or call 240-497-1460.
We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Take it to you with Turner and O'Neill. We'd like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, the Insurance Alliance Group LLC, and Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media, and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon. This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by... If If you're buying or selling your home, start your journey. Your goals plus our expertise equals success. Welcome to Keller Williams Capital Properties. Let us work with you to find and purchase the home of your dreams. Working with us guarantees you the local knowledge and market information you need. We are local experts with a reputation for excellence. We're here to help guide you through every step of the process with expert advice and representation. For more information, contact Marquise Evans at 301-357-5608 or visit www.yourmyagent.com. Keller Williams Capital Properties and Marquise Evans. www.yourmyagent.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back with Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. This segment's partner is Marquise Evans and Keller Williams Capital Properties. Gentlemen, we got lots to get to, so let's start with the NFL. 2 weeks left. Are there any intriguing storylines that you guys are hearing and seeing develop in this NFL?
Well, to me, there's a few. I think what's happening in the AFC East, what the Patriots have kind of done that people didn't think they could do, and can the Bills hang on to that? I think staying in the AFC, you talk AFC North, watching the Bengals, who historically have kind of been the doormat, them and the Browns of that division, but seeing what the Bengals did to the Ravens recently, which is something, that us Washington fans are used to having done to us, or at least. But can the Bengals kind of sustain that going into the next round? And then that NFC West to me is a huge storyline. Obviously, the Rams and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are taking a slide down. Can they sustain maybe a little bit of a comeback and get back to what they were? Because they were the number one team in the division. I think the other ones are kind of wrapped up. And can the Niners kind of continue to kind of show who they are? So to me, those are kind of the intriguing storylines. Can teams stay healthy COVID-wise and injury-wise? And obviously, it's going to be fun. Having that extra team in the playoffs is going to make it a lot of fun. And that extra week, right? Week 18 or 17, whatever it is.
Right. And we get, I think we get Tuesday night football for playoffs and a Monday night game, because we didn't have that before. Coach Turner, what intrigues you about this NFL at this time of the year?
Definitely the AFC East, like Casey said, but also the AFC North. You got those two teams in that division in the North with the Steelers and the Ravens that could turn this thing on for the last few games and take it back over. So it's going to be interesting to see how the next couple weeks fall out for those guys. Injuries have hurt them a little bit, and not having guys in position like they normally would to probably have won some games here that they should have won. So that watching that division will definitely be intriguing over the next couple weeks.
You got the Chiefs, who during the first third of the season, maybe first half of the season, didn't look like the Chiefs. And now they're the only team in the AFC to clinch a playoff spot. The rest is wide open. Do they have the right formula at the right time, right here and right now, when so many other teams are reeling? Pittsburgh's reeling. Baltimore is reeling. Who stands out in that AFC? I mean, Tennessee looks good, but right now, is it the Chiefs to lose?
I would say so. And I forgot to mention, too, that AFC South, I think you just mentioned Tennessee, obviously big blow, losing stud running back, but are still fighting and scrapping. The Colts look pretty decent to kind of slide in there, but no, I really think it's the Chiefs to lose. They're heating up at the right time. They're running the ball. They're throwing the ball. They're playing decent defense. Obviously, getting home field advantage, that's a tough place to go and play and try to win if you're a road team. But hoping the Bills, not only for your household to be excited, but hoping the Bills can sort of sustain something coming up here down the stretch. And I don't know what it is. We're so used to watching the Patriots until last year be in there. I think they have something dangerous. And Steve's guy, Mac Jones, that quarterback, Coach Turner talked about it. He's consistent. So for some reason, I kind of want to see the Patriots make a little bit of a run, but I think it's the Chiefs to lose.
5 teams in the NFC have clinched. We don't need to worry about them because the NFC East sucks, except for one team at the top, and we don't care about them. NBA, Warriors are emerging as the NBA's best team. How good are these Warriors?
Tell us how you're feeling, Kurtis. Tell us.
Right.
How good are the Warriors going to be when Klay returns? And let's keep in mind, they're the number 1 team right now, and someone who's been contributing to them, Jordan Poole, I think is in protocol, and they're still winning. How dangerous are these Warriors?
So dangerous. I mean,
Super dangerous.
super dangerous.
Does Klay hurt this chemistry? I think Klay helps this chemistry.
He only adds to it.
I think
if he comes back, and let's say he comes back and he's 90% of himself.
Trouble.
He's number one. He gives you that other scoring threat, and then he also gives you that big defending wing. Like he can only enhance what they're doing.
And then you get someone, so Wiggins, his role will drop a little bit. Jordan Poole's role will drop a little bit. So they'll be able to give you even more in those concentrated minutes. They won't be relied on to spell you for 30 or 35 minutes.
Well, they've made it clear they can load manage Klay the rest of the way already.
Right. Because they're doing it without him.
Back.
Right.
Because they're already doing it without him.
Right.
So like that makes it that just makes them, in my opinion, dangerous. Even more dangerous.
All right, the dust is starting to settle. Teams are finding themselves where they belong. Wizards are more like a fair to Midland team, right? You're getting Milwaukee's back in the mix. I mean, you talked the first 3 weeks of the season, and Milwaukee's not in the playoffs. Now they've got the number 3 spot. Philly keeps putzing along, getting wins and that kind of thing. What are we starting to see on these teams? Is anyone still surprising us that surprised us early?
I mean, to me, I think the Bulls. The Bulls are a dangerous team. I think the Heat's a dangerous team. I still stand by obviously the Wizards got off to a hot start, but I still like the direction this organization is going in and the way that they are playing so far. I get it. They're a 500 team, but look, they're playing decent basketball. Like the games in the fourth quarter are actually fun to watch. But to me in the East, it's the Bulls and the Cavs that are very intriguing and surprising to me. And in the West, I mean, it's so top heavy. It's just weird to see the West from like the 5th place down be like 500 teams or like sub 500. That's
they change a lot. They change a lot.
Right.
My surprise, quite honestly, is that the Memphis Grizzlies have a top 4 spot. They have a top 4 spot, and we're not talking about they're 3 games out of the 5th spot. So I mean, they're in there comfortably. I think for someone like Steve, the Utah Jazz and Denver Nuggets don't surprise him because he feels like people sleep on them. Phoenix doesn't surprise me, but Golden State being that good, I thought they would be good. I didn't think they'd be that good, and they're proving us all wrong. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You know I got to talk about it. Is this experiment done with the Lakers? Like, are we done with this experiment?
You know, I looked at the script, by the way, and I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about the Lakers again. And in the next, here's spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the Mets. Here we go, Lakers and Mets. Jeez.
So with your Lakers,
right?
Stay small ball. Enough of trying to play these old heads. Sorry, bigs. Like get rid of them dudes and let them go. Play small ball. I mean, LeBron showed you he can play another position if need be.
Did that last night.
We've always said he's been able to do it, and right. so why not do it to win? I mean, he doesn't have much left. Like, I'm just keeping it real. I know he wants to play as long as he can, and his dream is to be on the NBA court with his son, which would be cool and great to see. But if they're going to win, I think he's going to have to do some different things than he's ever done in his career.
Well, and he's doing it, though. He's the only player over the age of 35 or whatever to have like 5 straight 30-point games. I mean, he's doing the damn thing. I mean, another triple-double last night. They did win, albeit against a Rockets team, because the Rockets are like 4 and like 30 or something. They're god-awful, you know. But we got a back-to-back tonight. Let's see how he feels on a back-to-back, right? And he might have to play big again.
10 and 25 in the bottom of the West are the Rockets.
By no, Detroit's worse than them, so I can't talk that bad about Houston.
Well, Detroit's bottom of the East, but
Pistons are 5 and 27. Ooh.
That's god awful. That is god awful. They're winning 15% of their games. 15%. Steve,
hey.
if you had someone on your floor who shot 15% from the free throw line and the floor, you'd have to have a conversation, right?
No conversation. Somebody would just be in that spot.
and the Magic are 7 and 28, and that was a team 7 and 28, and that was a team at the beginning of the season. People are like, "Oh, the Magic might have a decent team."
Yeah,
awful.
okay. Yeah, okay, Magic. Does Kyrie help or hurt the Nets? Kyrie's
I'm
going
gonna
to be coming
I'm
back.
gonna let Steve answer this one.
I think he becomes a disruption. I hate to say it, but you can only play him here. We can only play him there. It's too much, man. Get the damn vaccine and play some basketball and give the fans what they deserve.
All right. Well, that will do it for that segment. We are coming right back with part 2 of our weekly sports wrap-up. DJ Krissy, let's do it. Your brand is an important part of your business growth. By advertising with Take-A-To with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. From season to season, we retain 92% of our advertisers. With category exclusivity, your business will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill equals exposure on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more than 15 listening platforms total. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand.
At Peace Players, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer support programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities in conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. We bridge divides between people through the game of basketball, and we develop young leaders who help to change perceptions. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. This segment is brought to you by the Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Let's get back to sports. Our leagues managing COVID well. The NBA, NFL, NHL, bowl games, and college hoops. Let's talk about this. The NBA has had several people in protocol. I mean, Greg Monroe just signed a 10-day contract, for God's sake. Isaiah Thomas signed a 10-day contract, which the Lakers are not going to renew. But then you have all these guys signing 10 days. The NFL has put games on Tuesday, and they've had teams with 8, 10, 12, 16 players out. The NHL suspended part of their season, went on their winter holiday break early. Bowl games have been canceled. We're talking canceled to the point where people had already flown into Annapolis for the game at Navy Stadium just to find out it was canceled. And college hoops, of course, which we're going to get to what the ACC did with that, but college hoops are being moved around and are postponed. Our league's managing it well. I know we're doing the best we can, but do you guys see a better path for this?
Go ahead, Steve.
Bowl games. You can't let teams come to town and then go party and hang out and then expect to have a game happen.
Right.
I mean,
You notice you're not hearing much from Alabama and Georgia and them right now. They're chilling, right?
Because it's business. They make it a business trip.
Right.
Either you have to make it a business trip or not. And that was a big part of my decision with my kids going to Oregon. It's like we pick some of the places we go to give these kids an opportunity for some educational experiences, some service experiences, and it was going to basically be go to Portland, Oregon, and sit in a hotel and play games, and that it just didn't make sense to me. The risk certainly outweighed the reward, and so for me, it was keep my guys safe.
And the thing is, with you, Steve,
that became priority number one.
And with you, Steve, if you did go on those excursions for mission work and educational work, what would you be bringing back to your campus, right?
Not just the campus, right? Right there, we could have been stuck out there. Forget, you might not have got back right away.
Okay, yeah.
And then to be able to be in a place where you're out there with kids and maybe they're not, family's not there, and you're now quarantining extra days and having to find places to stay and stay cooped up and have food brought to your door and all the things that would have had to go along with it.
You have to consider that.
Just didn't make sense. And then to see a team like UCLA going out and enjoying the water parks and the Wonder World, and then they tell them you can't play, that's a problem.
Yep.
That's a problem. And that's just, to me, hierarchy stupidity. That's the only way I'm going to call it.
There you go. Coach O'Neal.
Yeah.
These, not even professional sports, but professional and college sports, are they managing this well?
I mean, I feel like the when it comes to the NHL, I think they're trying to do the right thing in terms of postponing games, moving things, and taking care of the players. I feel the same with the NBA. NFL, obviously, we've seen a lot of, but that's, money is king. When it comes to college, these bowl games, a lot of money too. People, like Steve said, who are higher up making the decisions, making bad decisions. But, I mean, you look at UCLA, NC State. I mean, the game is canceled. You look at SMU and UVA, canceled. Boston College, the ECU Pirates, canceled. So it's frustrating. It's annoying. I think for the most part, people are doing the right thing. Like Coach Turner made a great decision, and we're all just getting through it and figuring it out. But at the end of the day, it's just let's get these kids playing games. Let's continue to move on. Let's do it with safety. Never takes a holiday, and it's frustrating, big time.
The ACC revised their COVID forfeit policy. It used to be if you can't play because of COVID, you get the forfeit, the opposing team gets the win. Now it's going to be a no contest game if they cannot reschedule it. I feel like that makes more sense. What do you gentlemen think?
I totally agree. I'm glad they revisited that and made a better decision on that call. Just to keep throwing forfeits around, I did not agree.
And then rankings can be based on whatever your record is, but there's 4 forfeits in there. You didn't even play those games, right?
Right.
All right, Coach O'Neal?
Agree. Completely. I completely agree on that.
What NFL teams should be looking for a new coach come next season? And I will nominate Detroit not to be one of those teams.
The Jets.
I like that coach, by the way.
I think the one that's interesting to me is what is Seattle going to do?
Oh,
that's a good one.
I didn't think about that.
That's the one. When I look up and down the standings, Seattle is the interesting one to me. What will they do?
Do the fans know that Russell was hurt? We had some situations that were unfortunate. Therefore, he gets another pass, or?
I mean, probably so, but I just think that's one that's going to be interesting because it hasn't been. It's the elephant in the room that hasn't been talked about.
Okay, all right.
And I would agree. I mean, I think New Orleans is in the same situation as well, kind of like with Seattle. Obviously, they had a quarterback in Drew Brees that just retired and things going on there. I would say, look, Chicago is probably the big circle target, number one. That guy takes more heat than anybody in the decision.
Minnesota's coach?
Minnesota as well, so sticking with the NFC North there. But, yeah, I would say Chicago, probably Minnesota. Look, the Jets are the Jets, and the rest of it, I mean – think about the Browns, what they were supposed to do as well, like how good they were supposed to be. So
yeah, but they didn't like tank. They're 7-8.
Jacksonville looking for new coaches. The Jaguars are.
You think? No, you're right. The Giants are awful. Detroit's awful, but I don't know that anyone expected them to be awesome. What's going on in Carolina? Carolina could go 5-12. Is that a job that someone needs to be looking at, or how many years has that coach been there? I'm not familiar.
I'm not sure.
I couldn't. Well, I guess Rivera left 2 years ago. So what? 2 years?
Okay, 2 years. Is that enough time in the NFL? I mean, by today's standards, to me, you should get 3-4 years.
Right.
And that's what you think a college coach should get, right, to build his or her own program.
Yeah, see where they are after 3 years. But it's a mess. It's tough. Obviously, it's somebody's livelihood. It's families. It's jobs, not just the head coach. I mean, that trickles down to assistants and their families and people moving around and, the people that work in the building and the trainers and managers, all that goes into it. So, but as we said a million times, money speaks. And if you're not winning.
There you go. And it's not my fault that my teams are the king of the headlines, Coach Casey O'Neal. Buck Showalter now leads the Mets. And Donovan Mitchell is a Mets fan. He said the Mets will now go 162-0. So Buck Showalter is a big name. He's going to fill some seats. Obviously, he rules not necessarily with an iron fist, but he knows the game. is this where the Mets' problems were? We had injuries. We had things that could not get together last year. And at one point, then we started riding high. But boy, that July, August slump comes, and there we go. Is Showalter enough? He made the Orioles look good at one point.
He
Is
did.
He enough? Is he enough?
We're gonna find
I
out.
really thought to the O's, and they were kind of, overachieving when they had him there. I like the way he manages, like his style. Old school ball coach for sure. Maybe that's what the Mets need, right? Maybe that's exactly what they need. But you're right. I just feel like there's some type of curse with that organization. Like you said, July and August, couple injuries. This guy goes down. So-and-so is feeling the pressure. And look, in the NL East, obviously the Nats are kind of in a rebuild mode, and the Phillies are still pretty good. They got some talent, but the Braves are damn
Braves,
good.
brother.
And they're the World Series champs, man. I mean, it's a tough division, but I like Buck. That's a good move for the Mets.
All right. Coach Turner, you have been very vocal about the student athlete and how it affects them, being able to have eligibility and the transfer portal and all of that. Where are we now with this round of COVID and how it's affecting players, eligibility for juniors and seniors in high school, and then college players and what their careers look like?
A mess.
Still a mess, huh?
A mess. I mean, we got to see how this finishes. Like, are we going to get another year? They're going to grant another year of eligibility. What are they going to do? Like, they start doing that, it really is done for the high school kid, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that we don't get that to be something that they make a choice on granting another year for these guys.
How are your juniors and seniors navigating this now? Are most of your seniors committed or have the opportunities they were supposed to have? How is that working for you?
I mean, half of them are committed, but there are some that I don't believe are getting the opportunities that they deserve to have.
And this is the hangover from last year, right?
Correct.
All right. Do you imagine that what we're doing now with some of these postponements and all that, is that further affecting them? Or are we still in that space from COVID the first round?
I think it definitely further affects them, because as we get further and further into or deeper and deeper into the season, I just see college coaches chasing the transfer portal.
Okay. That's still a thing, huh?
They think they for whatever reason right now, they are brainwashed on get older, get more game experience, and think that's going to win. And I don't see it happening. I don't see growth through continuity.
That continuity piece
happening that way. I see guys just putting together teams that pieces to the puzzle really don't fit the way that they think they're going to.
Okay. Coach O'Neill, you're doing a lot of training. What are your families seeing? How is it affecting them, if at all?
With the way we work, we're outside, we got space. We're good. We did have to make an adjustment with some indoor training, the first one, but everything this fall and so far in the winter has been good. But the kids and the people we work with are very forthcoming and upfront about, hey, so-and-so, because look, it's not just the training, it's trickling down into the schools. It's affecting, like, my daughter's in school. They've already had to do a week of virtual for the first kindergarten, first and second grade because of cases and things going on. So,
Right.
Look, again, just like March of 2020, we're kind of going through another round of this. People are trying to make the best decisions for their families, for their organization, for their teams, for their sport. And I think everybody's, got a better sense of the education piece of this and what's safe. And I think once we get through kind of this holiday season and New Year, we're going to be back to what we can do. But for us, training has been, I'm going to go work this afternoon with some guys outside. I'm going to work with some tomorrow, and we're going to do it the right way.
So,
All right.
Here's what I would say about that. I just threw up the NCAA basketball rankings. Your current top 10 teams are still full by teams of players that were recruited to their schools, not just by the transfer portal.
Right. So that
So
we're not finding that success.
A couple of
in
them
that
do have some transfers, but
Okay.
but they're not the core of their team isn't based on the transfer portal.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that method towards success might not necessarily be there because you're not seeing those teams that utilize the transfer portal heavily moving into that top 10.
Not in the way that people think they're going to.
Right. And then when you look on the women's side, South Carolina, Stanford, Louisville, Arizona, NC State, Maryland, Tennessee. Those are your first 7. We always see them as being successful, right?
Yep.
Then you drop down to Indiana, Michigan. They're in and out, but then you go Baylor, UConn, Texas. You always see those teams in it, right? So the same is existing on the women's side as I pull that up. Dawn Staley doing a heck of a job down there in South Carolina, by the way.
Bad girl.
I wouldn't want to see them. DJ Krissy, we have something called a final last break and then our final words. So why don't we take it to commercial and we'll wrap this baby up.
Woo!
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend.
The final word is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back. It's time to wrap this episode up with some thanks and, of course, our final word. We invite you to become a friend of the program. To do so, go to turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. We'd like to thank our Season 3 friends, Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Justin O'Neill, Sean Parker, Diane Panasevich, Amy, Dan, Noah, and Ellie Richard, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Toronas, that's Joey T's wife, and Timothy Whittier. Become a donor, sponsor, or partner by going to turnerando'neill.com and click Media Kit. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube by simply going to turnerando'neill.com and clicking any of the social media icons. Before we sign off, thanks to our listeners and viewers. This podcast is fueled by you, and we appreciate your support. Thanks to DJ Krissy. She sits right over there, our engineer who makes us sound and look good each week. Coach Turner, please offer your final thoughts.
Always a great episode. Always great to get with you, this crew of the TNO. Saddened that I'm worried that we're going backwards with this COVID stuff. And I pray that maybe people will just get smart and get out here and get vaccinated, get these boosters, stop having parties and big crowded functions with people who aren't vaccinated. We got to keep moving forward. I just hope that we're not going to move backwards. I really want to see our kids finish out this winter with their sports and activity. So I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed, keep trying to do the right thing, keep trying to promote the right thing, and hopefully see things continue to move, hopefully move in the right direction for the better.
DJ Krissy, your final word, young lady.
Thank you for a fabulous mental health day. Always good to see you guys, even though we're all in the studio. It's still good to see you. And everyone just stay safe, stay healthy, and looking forward to the next one.
New Year's Eve 2022, like father, like daughter.
That too.
Y'all might want to tune in. It's produced by Krissy. Krissy's going to produce this whole thing. Like the minute we close down this podcast, we're going to go into transformation mode. We turn the studio into New Year's Eve so we can get some practice in and all that. Gentlemen, thank you for being a part of what we do. I hope you have the meeting ID and the login to get some
I want to know what Chelsea's go-to song is. That's what I want.
You know what? I mean, we can talk about some things. I mean, I can give away some things if I got to give away some things. But we do have... Scoop. I will tell
party in the USA. Oh.
All right, Steve, you asked for it. Let me see if I can. I'll give you just a little bit of what I got her playlist right here, and she's gonna open up with Beyonce. I'm just telling you that right now. She's gonna open up with Beyonce. This is what I'm gonna give you. She's gonna open with Beyonce. She's gonna close with some DC Go-Go. That's all I have to say.
Oh, I'm good.
That's all I have to say.
I'm in there.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Young lady, thank you for joining us. And Coach O'Neill, the floor is yours, sir.
I'm honored to close out 2021 with the TO podcast. Happy New Year to everybody out there that listens. Happy New Year to those that support and love us. We love you. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and make it a safe New Year, everybody. The quote is, "The journey is the destination. The process you're in is the goal. Success is never defined by the outcome, but by the process."
DJ Krissy, let's pull the... Actually, you know what? We can do it all together because it's the last one, right? So, gentlemen, on 3, 1, 2, 3. DJ Krissy, pull the plug.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our advertisers, our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group LLC, Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties, our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International, and our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without the written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turneroneillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and/or information being used on the podcast. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and more than 15 podcast platforms in total. You can also view Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episode drops. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Advertising opportunities are available.